Yo, 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 what's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads, and especially all you gardeners out there? This is Weedman 420 and Big Earl with the Grow Hour. How you doing, my brother, Big Earl?
What's up, man? I'm doing really well, dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. You want to know why?
Why?
I'm going to get baked with you, and we have a special guest on tonight, WeeWuu. What's going on, WeeWuu? How you doing, brother?
How's everybody doing tonight?
We're doing great. We watched you do a big bong rip, and it was very beautiful. So Big Earl and I are going to do a quick little smoke sesh and talk about what we're smoking. But I'm smoking some Blueberry Sangria grown by my friend Big Earl over there. Big Earl, what you smoking on?
Peach Stank. Peach Stank. It's
I like
nice.
that peach steak.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real nice. It's peach and stanky. It gets the peachy from the papaya grandmother, and then it has like that pine fucking hash back end on it almost. One of my favorites.
WeeWuu, what were you smoking on before we started the show?
I was just smoking some pure guava.
Is that a strain grown by you?
Actually, it's grown by my friends at Red Bed Ritz, and Heavily Clouded gave me that. Shout out to those guys; they do great work. I've been smoking some of that. I really like this lime heads I've had lately. I had some sherbet cream pie that was pretty impressive. Still smoking some gas here and there, some like G-Sol, that kind of thing. I like to smoke a lot of different shit daily.
Nice. Are you more of a bong ripper, or do you like joints, or do you like
pre-rolls, or not pre-rolls. I don't buy pre-rolls, but yeah, I'll smoke joints or I'll do bong hits. It just depends.
Nice. I love it. Big Earl.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say I like the flavor of a joint before I light it.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
huge.
Yeah, big. Big
Change.
Earl.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You were talking about before the show, though. You were talking about a friend that passed away in the industry. Do you guys know of him or know him or something like that? You guys want to give a shout out, talk about him for a minute if you know of him?
Yeah, Bulletproof Genetics we saw earlier today passed away. I don't know him personally, but I've got quite a few of his packs and have loved a lot of his work. He did the deep breath work. I know a lot of people have seen that around, and he was a sad one to lose. So definitely rest in peace to Bulletproof.
Yeah, I didn't know him that well at all, but it just sucks to see anybody in the industry pass away at before they should at this age and in this industry. So shout out to his family and all his friends. I'm sure I talked to him in my DMs over the last 10 years or something, or exchanged packs with him, but best to his friends, obviously.
He's smoking the big fat joint in the sky now, and rest in peace, Bulletproof, and rest in power. And you just I don't know you, but from what I heard from Big Earl and what I've gotten to learn from what he's talking about here, I mean, you're legend, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to grow some of your packs soon just to show some peacefulness that you got to do. So rest in peace,
Amen.
Bulletproof, and yeah. So, but now here it is, WeeWuu. But you go by WeeWuu, but you also have Scapegoat Genetics. So who the fuck is WeeWuu? And how the fuck did you get that name? Because I'm thinking WeeWuu. I'm thinking that commercial. Emu. Now I'm thinking I was singing it all day in my head.
Thank you.
WeeWuu,
Thank you.
WeeWuu. I love it. I love the name. How the fuck did you get it?
Yeah, I tried to convince my wife that's what they were saying in that ad, but she wasn't having any of it. Sometimes the best things are like little accidents that you stick with, and that was just something that meant whatever to me. So maybe it was whatever strain, but it just stuck. It's easy to find on Google. No one else has it. And then
Smart.
So I've just kind of stuck with it. It's easy to figure out. It's a little too late now. There's a lot of people named Mark out there. So it's WeeWuu as far as for, the brand of my company and Scapegoat. I feel like it's known better probably than Scapegoat at this point.
Well, how did Scapegoat come along? Because I saw some goats in your garden, which that were running around. Are those your goats? Because they're cute.
Yeah. I've had goats for quite a while, just as pets. They're just wild, man. They're just good therapy. Scapegoat came about one night when I was sitting around coming up with names with my buddy in Slipknot, and Scapegoat was something I thought I heard in one of their songs, and it was not. They said something else, but so that's what stuck. And we were getting ready for doing one of the High Times Cups back in the day when they actually meant something, and they were a good time. And it was the Los Angeles one, I believe. It was the Los Angeles or the Denver one. It was one of the two. And we just launched with that name. I hadn't thought about really like branding the company before then, but thank God I did. Now it's been 10 years.
10 years, huh? That's when did you get your start though? Like when did you start like getting into it? So you said 10 years, but like when did you get your start? So, did you start just becoming a breeder, or were you just a grower, or did you just run some weed for some friends? And when you got like me, when I got my start way back in the early 90s.
So when I was in 6th grade, I had a girlfriend that was a little bit older than me. And
you stud.
She was a gateway. She was a gateway, we'll say. But long story short, my uncle, when I was a freshman in high school, came home from California with a bag of real cannabis. Otherwise, it was Mexican brickweed where I was. The diesel weed that we would get back then came in a diesel truck soaked in diesel, literally. We're lucky we're not all dead. It shows the true medical benefits of cannabis that anybody my age that smoked all that brickweed nonsense, you'd rip apart those giant nasty ass bricks, I assume, and you'd find these like patches that were a different color that looked like nice trichomes. Those were mold. None of that killed me.
You ever find a dead bird in yours? Hold on. You ever find a dead bird in yours? You ever find shotgun shells in yours?
We've found fish hooks just to weigh them down better. Live worms. Yeah. Live worms, like lots of them. The Reagan era.
Yeah, we're about the same age, so I feel I'm right with you here.
But I was reading High Times magazine, and I was seeing all those pictures, and once like Overgrow, the forum, came on, and somehow I found that on dial-up internet, and I started seeing pictures of what was going on again. I figured out how to get seeds, and I started buying seeds in like 95, 94 from like Heaven's Stairway and Gypsy Nirvana and Serious Seeds and Mark up in Canada. It was wild times. We
what was the time frame?
That was about 97, 96. We used to take a marine battery out to a creek and a swamp and, some hoses and allegedly, and grow all those seeds in pots out there and water from the creek, so to speak. Good times.
Good water.
Crazy times.
That's when life was easy, right?
Yeah, times are wild like that. I can remember some crazy prices, and it was great to have a chance to live through that. I'm glad I'm not starting my. Go ahead. I was gonna just say I'm glad I didn't start my life in cannabis as a bud tender.
I was talking to Big Earl on the last episode. Or was it during our practice yesterday when I'm talking about, this is 93 to 98 when sure. I lived in the Southeast, allegedly, and pounds were going for 4,000 or 5,000. It was a beautiful time. And Mexican brickery was going for 500, 600 a pound, depending on who you got it from. So, allegedly.
I remember $6,500 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
And that was for Headband. That was Headband and OG Kush, the real deals out of Vancouver or whatnot. Good old Michigan.
There you go. So making seeds. So your start was back in the late 90s, allegedly, and making seeds by the down by the creek was so you would buy seeds from some magazines and then basically You learned to breed
Forums.
back in the 90s. Okay.
Yeah, I started pretty early. I had a friend named Jake, and his last name rhymed with Walzer, who was really into it too, and he had a colloidal silver machine, and we started buying 100% pure, silver coins, and hooking them up and making our own colloidal silver, and it worked remarkably well. And we just started reversing and playing around. We didn't really have any plans to start a seed company. We were just digging it, We were in it for the passion of it, like I still am. And one thing led to another, and I don't know how it all works out in the end, but you end up on a path if your passion's driving you to it and you're not just doing it for a quick buck, that hopefully someday, it's more than just a hobby. And starting that long ago and still being able to do this is a blessing. And I don't take it for granted, even though our industry has changed so much now.
Yeah.
When did you kind of realize you wanted to make this your passion, your career, I guess if you want to call it, or your love?
Shit. Probably like 1988.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I was never into alcohol. I was more into cannabis. There was some Thai stick and some crazy shit you'd see once in a while, babe, way back in the day. And you'd see monkey's paw and Colombian gold. That was actually Colombian gold. It's kind of wild to think of it now. I was just always, my body chemistry was for cannabis. It wasn't for anything else really. And the fact, like I said before, that, I smoked all that horrible Mexican cannabis weed that was mostly probably just deteriorated to CBG. It wasn't even really THC at that point. And I survived. Just proves the medicinal effects of it. So, and then, once I started seeing, like, on the forums, Gypsy Nirvana, who was quite the character, and Stairway to Heaven, and all these different sites coming on with these strains, I couldn't stop reading about the genetics of them, and then going in farther, and just thread after thread. And I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't just there for the high, obviously. I was just fascinated with where these plants were coming from and were created. Nobody owns any plant. I appreciate people like Archive Seed that really do a lot of work versus a lot of other people. But the bottom line is, like, where'd he get his first plant from? I don't know. But probably the same place as everyone else. Somebody gave it to him. So,
yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's
Big Earl, you've been breeding for a long time. So, I mean, longer than, I did my first breeding project this summer. So, and it was on a whim. So you would know a little bit more about this than me.
I always call myself a pollen chucker, just because I don't put huge hunts in and different stuff like that. So I'll rotate through some different genetics. But I fucking think they're for everybody. When I get a cut, I'm only going to have that for like a year tops. I want to share it. I want to share that seed with everybody, and hopefully it's dope. Sometimes I do that, and a couple years later, somebody still has it. I'm like, oh shit, you still have that cut? And I get to run it again and stuff. So I don't even usually sell them, honestly. I just try to give.
I have to say this: I'm not a breeder. I'm not a pollen chucker. I did my first little pollen throw on some outdoor stuff to have some fun. I appreciate the art it takes to do that more than anybody knows. I appreciate watching, because Big Earl and I have been friends for a while now. So I've watched him in the last 5 years where he's come from. And then a lot of the people I started following because of the show and because of Big Earl, watching and appreciating the art that it takes to get to that point of a seed that you actually want to breed it for someone to buy or to test or to just to give.
Yeah.
It's an art form. It is a true art form. If you're there for the plant, everyone wants to make money. I think you should make money at it, and it's a great living if you can make a living at it. But I appreciate the art form that you all do because it's not easy.
Well, I don't consider myself a breeder. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what I like to smoke. And now, the way the market's getting cornered into just a small, tight little area of what's getting bred back into itself, basically, it's a little interesting sink or swim, and what everybody's, putting in. Some people are putting in some really hard work, and they're not getting anything for it, except some drawers full of seeds that nobody's buying. And I think one of the questions, one of the questions that I get a lot, or I see a lot, is like, none of these seed makers are growing their seeds afterwards. Well, sadly, the bottom line is, I would love to grow all my plants out before I sold them in seed form. However, the market is so quick and fickle that it's basically a race to who's crossing permanent market of blue nerds or what have you at this point. You know what I'm saying? And if people don't have their own library of genetics that they've created that are moms, so to speak, that they can work with, I'm not sure what you're doing making seeds at this point. So It's this, I told this story before to somebody, and a true breeder that just like went on a seed bank that he started working on, and he did some interviews and promoted it on the social media sites and all that kind of stuff that you should do, and that worked a couple of years ago. And now he sold 3 packs, dropped like 13 different crosses, had photos of everything and reports on all of it. I mean, it broke my heart when I saw that. However, I think the rules, and I think the people that are buying seeds are different people now. I don't think the same people are popping seeds. I think it's a whole new ball game, and I don't think there's a lot of, what's the word? I don't want to say integrity. That's the wrong word. I don't think there's a lot of rules right now, because there's some integrity still for some people, but I think the rules are just kind of like trying to figure them out as everybody goes. Nobody really knows exactly what they're doing. And I'm talking licensed markets now, or which everything is. Michigan's $1 billion cannabis industry in its own now. It's number 2 in the nation.
It's going to be $3 billion. It's going to be $3 billion by the end of this year.
Damn.
$3 billion. I just read some numbers.
So
they're having you're having $270 million months, man. Come on now. And no one's making any money. Come on.
Well, I think I know some people are making money. I know a lot of people that aren't, because of taxes and all that kind of stuff, and it's so expensive to do anything. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a plan and a good leader.
Better have a plan. Oh, yeah, that's why I have my wife. And so does Big Earl. And so do you.
But I'll tell you this. It's like, if you really love cannabis and you really want to work in the industry, and you've been doing it all on your own at home or what have you for many years, and you're being stubborn, this is the last ticket out of town. Sadly, I hate to put it that way, but if you're not already doing something in the legal market, you might be too late.
Unless you're in a state that's not legal yet, not even medical yet. There's some states out there you can make money if you're in there now trying to get to that point. You can if you can get in those states now. That might be 2-3 years away. If not, you're done. If you're going in a state that's legal now, that's already being saturated out, unless you're buying an established business because somebody wants to retire, you go to a state that you need to fight for legalization, and then get on the bottom floor and work your way up. You might have to spend a little bit of money doing it, but you'll be one of the first on the ground floor. And then 10 years,
I know. Not to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to interrupt.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
As far as how it happened in Michigan, it was overnight. It was a matter of so much product hit the market all of a sudden in 1 month that it destroyed what they called the caregiver market.
Yeah.
It destroyed it.
I appreciate the caregiver market. Oh yeah, Big Earl over there. I appreciate the hell out of the caregiver market there. I think if it wasn't for the caregiver market in Michigan, there would be nowhere where it's at today.
Yeah.
Exactly, and let's not forget that. What's that? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, what we see now too that sucks is that there's so many people working on the other side of this that the caregivers not only they don't really get. When you go online and you look up a lot of different things, especially on like Reddit and different stuff, it's when you talk about caregiver this and caregiver that, there's a lot of hate for it, and it's crazy because it's such a positive thing. But you go on there and you talk about regs in the regular market, in the market, in the legal market, whatever you want to call it, and you talk about radiation and then irradiating, I think is what the name of the
remediating
process is, and remediating, and different shit like that, and it's like a complete that's bullshit. I'm tired of people saying this, and it's like, man, I can't believe this is the fucking mindset of what's going on with some of this shit. I know it's not everybody, but it's like it almost split into two markets again. Where like the potheads and the caregivers.
So that is definitely the information everybody's being fed.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. However, I can tell you this, that I was a caregiver for quite a few years, and a lot of my friends went from either caregiver to the licensed market, like when they had an opportunity, and made big sacrifices, and now are running large facilities, doing really amazing things. And the caregivers are the backbone of the whole license industry. And I feel like the people who are fighting capitalism and where cannabis is going there's those dogs I was talking about, are shorting themselves a little bit on their potential. And I say this, hey, you can still trap on the side. I know people in the legal market that work as bud tenders, and all the other bud tenders buy weed from their home grow. And
100%.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, but you gotta get your feet wet. Don't fight it. I mean, don't hate it. Just be, the whole caregiver thing at the same time is like, come on, you like staying home and making money and selling it off your couch at the same time. You know what? And I've never ever charged any sick person in my life for anything. So I'm just saying that from both sides. But don't be afraid to take it to the next level. However, a lot of people like myself and other people that are caregivers were naturally like introverted people from society that don't probably really do well with a boss possibly at this point, for 1/3 of maybe what we made at home for many years, doing crazy shit when it was a blind eye to it because it was medicine. And, it's like, it just is what it is, man. Nothing ever stays the same in this world. And nothing ever is going to, but don't let anger and don't let your emotions get in the way. Go look around and see if you have any friends that aren't pieces of, I'm trying to keep this somewhat clean, if you have any friends or you know somebody that you don't think is a horrible human and they're involved in cannabis and they're hiring people, go fucking do it. Otherwise, go get a job somewhere else and join the insurance agency and do something safe. Because if you're not here to work 60 hours a week and if you're not here to suffer for a while, it's not for you anymore. It's not for those people.
Yeah.
And
True passion.
you ruined social media for me with your crying about it constantly when there's so many different opportunities versus any other industry now. And guess what? You can sleep at night without getting your house raided, possibly. And if you have done this for a few years...
Don't forget, we're still all in the traditional market because it's still federally illegal. So they can come and pound on your door anytime they fucking want.
Yeah.
This whole segment,
I don't see it.
We kind of wanted to do for that is to be in this industry anymore. You have to have a real passion, and to come into it with the money, you're going to be pretty upset. But if you have that passion, then maybe making your own seeds is going to be something that you want to do, you know? And when we talked, we're like, okay, let's do this segment. We've talked about it before, but let's do it deeper. And the first question was like, well, do you really want to make seeds? Because there's a lot of great breeders out there with a ton of passion. So what do you think there's reasons to make seeds anymore? Do you think that, you know, like,
sure, you know what? But look at it this way. Do you know how many people buy? Do you know how many? Yeah. So you know how many people just bought a camera and they think they're going to make a living taking photos?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, my daughter does pretty well at it for some reason because she has passion for it. Yeah, whatever you're using. But that's how you should look at making seeds. If you're making seeds, it should be for yourself, not because you want to make money. Because there's not a lot of money in it anymore. And I don't care who you ask, Neptune, Dark Star, pick a seed bank, pick a seed maker. Pick one of your friends that you think buys a lot of seeds, ask them how many seeds they bought lately. And there's outliers, and they're all going to get in my DMs now and tell me they do, but I'm telling you, it's all about your relationships that you've developed at this point of your career in cannabis. And if you're just new to it and you're just getting in here, you're way behind. So if you're 19, 20, or whatever age you can legally get a job, or if you know some trapper that's doing a great job and you feel safe, go learn some tech from them, I guess. If you want to do that, just do something where you're learning. But there's good people that are doing good things, and try to get involved with them.
Yeah. The niche is huge. The niche you can create. You can make.
Here's what I want to say though, real quick. As a pollen checker, breeder, doing seed projects, you're making. Give me how many packs on an average that you get. I'm just trying to figure this out in my own pea brain. So, how many packs do you normally get out of a session?
How many packs do I make? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. How many packs do you make?
Oh, it's completely all over the place.
Just give me a number on your last one. Your last one. How many packs did you get?
In my 2x4, I make about 7,000 to 8,000 seeds in a 2x4 tent. I haven't been doing it for a really long time. I just let my male kind of go at it in there. If that helps break.
Well, so hey, here's some real talk for you right here. When you ask me a question like that, my last reversal was Sherb cream pie, and I got like 110 seeds out of like 45 plants.
Okay, so how many packs did that make? How many packs did that make?
10.
None.
Okay, 10 packs. 10 packs. So you have to have 10 people out there that know you, that buy from you. It's 10 packs. It's a rarity pack, one of a kind. Never get it again. Okay? It's amazing. What I'm trying to say is this, for all the people out there wanting to get into breeding, it's just like home brewing. How much homebrew equipment out there, and how much hops did someone buy off of a hop breeder? Same thing with you're all dealing with. There's not a lot of us right now. I'm a home grower. There's probably 1% market in the whole country because not everywhere is legal to home grow. So you have to understand something. There's a possibility in the future for everybody to make money in this, but you have to lay your foundation now. This is what I'm trying to get at now. Some of the guys and gals that have been doing this for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years have laid their foundation. They're getting their genetics ready for it all to come. So think about what Scapegoat WeeWuu was saying here. If you're not getting in this now, and you think you're going to, you're way behind the fucking 8 ball, probably behind the 9 ball too. Because these gents and ladies have mastered their craft now to where they're there, to where when one day, hopefully home grow, maybe there'll be more caregiver programs, maybe there'll be where there'll be some big craft cannabis that want to buy your genetics because you've been doing it for a while. So here's where you laid the foundation. It takes time to do it. Some trades take 20 years. And here we are 20 years later. You've been growing since the 90s, breeding your first breeding project. You've been wanting to do it since 88. This is where I'm trying to tell you it's not that you can't make money at it. There will be a time and a place, but 1% in this whole country are home growers. Now, when the world gets this whole fucking act together, the people that have laid their foundation are going to be, Big Earl's now got people in Australia buying his genetics. It's just, it will come. It's going to take more than one. There's 1%. And how many breeders just in the United States? We've had breeders on from Spain, probably more than the 1% that are home growing right now. That's all I'm trying to get at.
For sure.
So patience, foundation needs to be laid before the house is built. That's all I got to say. It will come for the people that stick with it and do it. It's just going to be, it just takes work. Like you said, 60 hours a week. It's not easy to master a craft.
And, even way back when I launched my company, I gave away so many packs of seeds. And, I was grateful to have a booth at High Times events where it was just a phenomenal time to be in cannabis. It was pretty amazing at those events. And that was the foundation, that's where Black Cherry Cheesecake came from, was way back then, and a few other strains. And now I feel like people can still be successful. You can still sell seeds, but it's, there's a lot of weed being grown at licensed facilities, not in people's houses or barns or whatever, nearly as much anymore. So you have to think about that. And, something I'm always thinking about is what's going to be popular in 6 to 9 months from now, or 12 months? Because it takes a minute when you make seeds for it to be grown and enough people to smoke it. A cut gets passed around. When you're trying to start a company, by now, hopefully you have relationships where you're going down avenues where you're trying to do things like, shout out Vera Cultivations and Elias, that kind of stuff. Hopefully you have some kind of plan if you've been doing this. Otherwise, you're doing it for you and your buddies, and take notes on what they like and what you like, and then listen to yourself over everyone else.
So basically, I've been homegrown for a little bit now. I'm still learning every day. But if I wanted to do an actual breeding project just for myself, so I can get some seeds, so I don't know if I can't afford to buy more seeds, how do I start?
Okay, so you probably go on social media. I hope this is legal. I'll keep it clean. So I don't know. Fuck. I think seeds are, excuse my French, seeds are legal to federally ship across the United States now. So you can be creative, and, there's multiple avenues to find seeds. But what I would do is, you've obviously smoked some weed at a licensed facility or your friend. Number one thing you don't do is usually don't take in clones to a brand new, clean grow area where you're going to try to grow. Don't do it. Just go the extra mile and buy some seeds from a credible source. Honestly, figure out a credible source. You're intelligent enough to do that if you're going to try to grow. Because if you can't figure out how to do that part, just keep buying expensive eighths at dispensaries. And then, I mean, the best information I could give you is try to grow a couple strains that you can research enough on Google and make sure that they're far enough apart from each other. Like, you don't want to date your cousin if you live in a small town. You want to date a girl from a couple towns over just to be safe. Think like that with seeds. You want to add something to this, Earl?
No, yeah, I think I like seeds over everything. I know that
that's another good shirt. Hold on, I gotta write that down.
I like seeds over everything always. Most of my room is seeds at any given time, and like when something's real special, I'll keep it around for a little while and probably hit it with a male, and then I'll move on to the next one. I like them first off, but it's part of like when I make seeds, I have to be able to like. I can't hunt all of them, but I hunt what I can, basically. And I like that always, because clones, I worked in a shop for 5 or 6 years. We were real busy. And when people came in with bug problems, when you got down to the bottom of it, 9 out of 10 times, maybe more than that. Oh, did you get clones in recently? That's where your bugs came from. That's where your mildew came from. That's where your fucking viroids are going to come from. Yeah, viruses could be in seeds too, but fuck, it's like it's
like
that's
10%
the contaminant
or something. I thought it was
with what
seeds. What's the viroid percent in seeds?
10%.
10%.
I think he
infected.
10% infected. Gotcha.
That's what I thought.
All I know is that. The times, literally every time I've ever had a problem, it's been after clones. I don't bring them in very often, and it's not all the time or even most of the time, and there's so much out there. I don't want to fucking grow anything that somebody else is growing. I get it from like a large facility standpoint. You have to have some stability, but for me personally, I want like half of my garden to be some random shit. It's mostly fire. Some of it, I'd say 90% of it's super fire that I like. I personally enjoy, and the other 10% where I'm like, I can get hash or do whatever, and it's like I love it. It's my perfect rotation. I have patients that support that. They love the different flavors. They understand like, oh, this is super fire, and like, hey, this one's not quite as terpy because it's a sister or something, but like I have to sell this shit. They understand that, and but it's all so good that nobody. It's the way, in my opinion.
That's the way it should be, right there. Yep, that's great.
Yeah, it's the best. If you haven't hunted a bunch of seeds, it's so much fun.
You got a lot of seeds, Big Earl. I seen your refrigerator. I seen your refrigerator. You love the seed hunt.
I got scared. I've told this story before, but I got scared like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe fucking longer now, like 8 years ago. They started talking about patenting genetics based off of like terpene profile and cannabinoid percent. And so I was like, well, fuck, they're going to patent this, and legally I'm not going to be able to fucking buy it. And so I kind of went on like a crazy spree with it. Got everything that I love and put some time and effort into researching, and then I don't really need to collect so much anymore. But fuck, I love seeds. So what about for somebody that's been making seeds a little bit and maybe wants to break through a little bit? Any advice for that type of breeder?
I would give them out. I would make whatever I thought would be an interesting cross, period. And then I would give them out to all my friends and anybody in grow stores that would give them out, and just hope to get any feedback within 6 months. And just keep making them. And like, one of my secrets, here's one of my secrets for making seeds cheap. I don't tell everybody this, but if you want to make seeds and possibly piss off your neighbors also at the same time, you can, we didn't really talk about how you select a male, but let's say you've selected a male and you have a couple of females that you want to hit with your male. Start them inside for 2 weeks, put them outside in summer, like August 15th, and they'll be done the beginning of October versus, say, the middle to late October, where you're really dealing with some craptastic weather. Because once your plants get below 70 degrees outside, there's a lot of bad things that can happen. Just never finishing, really wet. Lots of pathogens start developing in cold, moist temperatures, at least the Midwest.
Nice. Yeah.
Does someone got to put some time into it though, like to become get good at gardening first, and then maybe get good at hunting seeds, and then maybe it'll make seeds for sale? I mean, does someone need to be like have that level, or can someone just go right into breeding and not even worry about growing the plant?
Yeah, I hate to say it. You probably just go buy some Miracle Grow at Home Depot, basically. And if you're dealing with the right genetics and you have some kind of program and you feed it half the strength that's recommended of all that crap, I don't think it's that hard. But the whole thing is like selecting a male, that takes something, and then making seeds that anybody's going to give any cares about in a few months. You know what I mean? Ralph rose up maybe again.
Yeah, I got you though, what you were saying. So Earl, what's up with the breeding community?
Do you think that we see a difference in the breeding community and the growing community? Do you think it's all the same, or do you think there's like a distinct? Do you think there's a distinct difference there?
No. I think what there actually is there's this community of librarians that love cannabis, and we are preserving strains and breeding with them and trying to introduce new things. I think that's what it really is. A lot of those people are growing for other people, but the real community are the ones that, when we get together, we talk passionately about strains and terp profiles and what we've smoked lately. And a lot of everybody I know like that is collecting mothers all the way back to the mid 90s. And, we hold them so dear. It's kind of crazy when you really think about it. Because I'm not one that likes to trade clones or even really talk about my library, because I don't want to offend people when I say no, or I say what that strain's worth. And it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, at the same time,
yeah,
I have a close knit group of friends that, I can call anytime and get a cut of what I need, but I'm not going to turn around and sell it either. I'm going to do something with it, so it prolongs its life.
Yeah. One of the things that when I first got into making seeds, was how personal I was gonna, I thought, I sell seeds, but like you said, I'm still in the phase of giving out a lot of seeds also. I just want to keep my seeds pumping, honestly. I thought that I didn't think it'd be as personal as it is. There's a whole lot of talking. There's a lot of, don't get me wrong, I like it. I like getting to know people. Like, I've created a lot of friends, but do you think that that's just how the industry is now? Are there breeders out there that are getting around this? And I know there's some like really large breeders in terms of like seed sales that aren't very personal. But how do you feel about that? I know you're always accessible.
So, social media is a double-edged sword for me. I've met some really amazing people on there. And, now I'm pretty much ghosted. I have 27,000 followers on one account and almost 12 on another one. But because cannabis is such a horrible topic versus, everybody's 19-year-old daughter who hates their dad dancing around barely clad with anything, blah, 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 blah. What I'm saying here is everything's changed. and I don't really think anybody really knows what they're supposed to do right now. Um, Cannabis social media is not where I can really sell seeds anymore.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's just kind of going with the flow of whatever that means.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
I don't
it's
know. I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go now to like express what your art is. I'm not sure what the. I mean, you can't go to any of the social media. They all hate it. Makes it kind of difficult. What do you think about that, Earl?
I think I'm super lucky that I had a friend that had a podcast that gives me some sort of expression on like my girl, yeah, on so I can say, hey, this is what I learned today, or hey, this is how I garden this way, and I feel like I'm sharing my art in a way with people. Um, but it was
Discord's been good too, Earl. Too. I love doing Discord because you can get a lot done on Discord and meet good people and share a lot of stuff on Discord that you don't get hacked or banned for like you do on social media.
Do you think that how a gardener personally runs their garden can create somebody like having good or bad experiences with their seeds in terms of if I run LEDs and I'm progressing the plant that expresses itself best under LED, and you're running HPS still, and maybe my plant hasn't ever been chosen to run in that kind of, a little bit warmer at the bulb but colder on the room usually, and like, do you think that has a big play in a lot of the breeding? Because it's overlooked sometimes, I think, but
I think that statement's way more true than just some bro science being passed around. I think since we've gone from HPS and halides to a lot of different LEDs, and we're still evolving with those, that yes, you're seeing a lot of cannabis that's growing under LEDs now instead, and that is definitely changing the way things are going. But I still think HPS are the best to grow under for cannabis for yourself.
yeah.
Um,
You like
I
to
think
mix the
weed
spectrum
probably
up,
even
like
tastes
throw a
better.
halide in there or a ceramic? Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do you can do a full spectrum. There's all kinds of options. The bottom line is energy usage, and for some reason, LED cannabis is different. And I have some friends that are doing some research on that right now. I'm excited to see what they come up with. Uh, anybody that's grown weed before and they've grown it outdoors or they've grown it indoors under any kind of spectrums, they know when they walk outside and they see that plant under the sun, it's like,
Yeah.
holy shit, look at this plant under the
Sun is king.
sun. It's
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. It's an amazing thing. Everybody should try to do that sometime in their life. Grow them next to your tomatoes or whatever, even if it's an autoflower.
It'll humble you because these things are just like, it's just nature. It's just going to fucking. I love outside weed. I like indoor weed, but I like outside weed too.
I'm gonna be doing an outside. I don't like the word judge, but I'm gonna be doing this outside event for Country Roots, my bro here in Michigan. I'm super excited about it coming up in November. I think I might have some friends in town from Alaska, Elf, to help me with that and others.
Yeah.
But that's a great time every year. It's a sun-grown event, and there's usually like 60, 70 different entrants. It's mind-blowing and
Nice.
lung-blowing.
That's dope.
Right here in Michigan?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yep. That's going to be
Yeah,
wild.
cool. Yeah,
It was a crazy time. Greatest people ever at the event, ever. You could like leave all your electronics on the table and just walk around. You don't have to worry about anything. You could leave anything on the table. Community.
You post about that? I'll have to keep an eye out for it.
I'll tell you more about it offline if you want to know.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, shout out to Country Roots.
What's the breeding project you're most proud of?
Well, I got to be honest. The first one.
Yeah.
That we just did it. That I just committed to a whole room of making seeds versus monocropping, and then continuing to do it. And then you hit on it. You have patients or friends that understand that they have to sometimes smoke that one pheno that's not good as the other one, but you try to share the good one with blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm thankful for, is the first time I did it and that I kept going. I know a lot of great growers, and I don't consider myself one of them. I'm hunting. I'm looking for certain specific characteristics in plants that I can give to my friends that drive spaceships for a living, let's call it, to see what they can do with them. I'm just in the lab, and I'm a pollen chucker. I'm not archive. I can't do what he does. God bless his soul. And, anybody that's doing that kind of work and surviving, good for them. So I just, I'm looking for specific things, trying to keep those characteristics alive without ripping anybody off directly. My probably most popular ones are black cherry cheesecake cookies, rabbit hole, a strain called Hoof, that I did with Gromer, my buddy from Thug Pug. I've got a strain called Blueberry that's pretty popular in the Michigan system right now.
Yeah, nice. So we had talked about the show a little bit, and you brought up that before somebody starts breeding, is really important to check for viroids. Is that something that you see a lot in seeds right now?
If you're going to just go buy some clones somewhere and start a breeding project, ooh, that's a scary thought. You're better off buying reputable seeds. The viroid in clones is pretty rapid in a lot of places nowadays, and it's several $100 to test things correctly. You got to test the roots along with the leaf samples and the roots off the top and from all sides. And there's a company in Colorado called Toomey Genomics that is like state of the art for that kind of testing. They'd be great people to have on your show sometime, actually.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We love talking to people, man. That would be it's so interesting because there's
the woman. No, you're good. The lady that would probably come on your show is amazing. Just make sure you bring yourself something to cry in when she starts telling you more and more about this horrible viroid and what it does to cannabis and
you froze a little bit
latest
on me.
research. The latest research on the viroid and how it transfers from water and how it transfers from micro-sized bugs, and you have to be really careful. You can't put all your same things in one cloner. I have seen some interesting research on purple strains that are heavy in certain genetics that don't seem to be as susceptible, that they're doing more info on hopefully soon. Anathesin, I know I'm probably butchering that word, but some interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know a ton about all like viroids in general, but just from the person we've had her on here, she has a lab, and just in her talking about it a little bit and some of the research and things that that Mr. Weedman's talked about on him and Mrs. Weedman's show. It's kind of, it can go through seeds, and honestly, I've been a little scared of seeds the last 3 years or so because of that. Like, I know I have like reputable people and I really like breeders, but that's definitely something that's been like on my mind. Like, this shit can be stored in seeds, and so making sure people don't have those clones is a big thing.
Have you ever, I've seen it. I've walked into a flower room, not my own, and I've seen it active, or people just didn't know why one whole branch was wilting on a plant with 15 to 20 tops. And that was like 4 years ago that I started seeing that kind of thing. and those were from Greenpoint Seeds. Shout out to him. And it's exploded now, and sometimes you see it in plants, and sometimes healthy plants don't really express it, and it's expensive to test for. So, you know, I don't take in plants that aren't tested at this point. You just can't do it. And when when I'm cloning something, call me a little bit crazy, but I use large red solo cups right now when I get something into my area and I want to clone it. Even if it's been tested, I don't stick it in a cloner with anything else ever again. You know what I'm saying? I just get a little aquarium pump with a dial on it that maybe runs 5 of them. I turn it low and I get those really small little air rocks, and I just keep them all to themselves now, just to be not a separatist, but to be safe.
Well, yeah, I mean it's smart. It's too much at risk. Like a restart is catastrophic. But man, I love chatting today. I don't know if you can hear Mr. Weedman, but we fucking love chatting today. Will you tell everybody your tags, somewhere they can find you, and
go to any search engine and type in WeeWuu. You'll end up at my Instagram page. I have WeeWuuShop.com. I have a bunch of seeds on sale on there right now, and I'm always doing different sales. Otherwise, kind of blackballed on some social media, so I don't have many photos up anymore, but I can always show you those. I got a Discord too I can invite you to. That's all in my link profile on WeeWuu Instagram.
Yeah. Nice, man. Well, I don't think you can hear Mr. Weedman. The mic's not going through. But I'm supposed to. I always end with a CalMag joke. I don't know what to do.
That's hilarious.
Having any problems out there? Make sure you had some CalMag out there.
Let's do a shot of CalMag to end the show. How's that sound, Earl?
Don't forget to CalMag, everybody.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Peace.
Take care.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.